Today we're going to take a closer look at what's under the hood of the game so far. Before we begin, note that there isn't a HUD available yet, so you'll have to rely on the combat log to take a look at any additional information or damage that's being done. Next week we'll plan to make this more legible for you though. For this demonstration, we have 3 types of dummies and 4 types of weapons. The dummies are weak, average, strong, and their difference lies in their health and armor for the most part. Regarding the weapon damage for melee combat, there are several factors to consider. The damage dealt depends on the weapon damage, which finds a random value between the minimum and maximum damage. Weapon skill also plays a role, as the higher your skill, the more skilled you are with the weapon. Additionally, strength provides a small bonus for some weapons when swinging them. Weapon durability also affects the damage output. If the weapon is 100%, it does full damage, but as it degrades, it does less and less until it reaches 0 and becomes unusable. It is essential to manage your stamina during fights, because getting exhausted makes your attack much less impactful. Your stamina with weapon swinging is determined by several things, including your weapon weight, and your skill using the weapon, as well as your martial skill. The martial skill is a way to convey melee combat experience, as weapon skill alone does not indicate experience in real combat. I have other plans for skills like martial as well, such as skill unlocks, passive and active, as it levels up. For example, one skill plan for martial is Kick, which could interrupt spellcasters and upset blocking opponent's stance. It will drain stamina, but when used wisely, it'll give you an opening to strike. Regarding weapon speed, it's not in yet, but the ability to add unique animations for weapons exists, and we plan to do so in the future, as well as controlling combat speed, which will be a mix of the weapon's attack speed as well as your dexterity. Now, let's look at the weapons we'll be using for this challenge and the abilities on this character. We have 4 weapons: an Iron Axe, an Iron Dagger, an Iron Mace, and a Jade Longsword. The weapons have different damage types, skill requirements, and weight values that factor into stamina drain. Please note there are other weapon types too, such as pull arms and unarmed combat, but they're not in this current demo. With all that said, let's jump into the combat debug log and see the combat in action. When I swing the dagger, despite it being light, it's still losing 3 stamina per swing. I'm not very skilled with it, so that's kind of making it stay so high. Let's try the mace. It weighs a little bit more, but we're just losing under 5 stamina per swing. Our martial skill and weapon proficiency are cutting down the consumed stamina quite a bit. If we weren't so proficient, we'd be losing a ton more per swing. If we were unskilled with a heavy weapon, you can imagine how quickly we'd be losing the stamina. To test our combat skills, we have 3 types of dummies: weak, average, and strong. The weak ones have no armor and about 25 health. The average ones, 50 health and 10 armor. The strong ones, 20 armor and 100 health. Let's start with the dagger. We're not very skilled in it, but hopefully we can take out the weak enemy pretty quick. About 3 swings to kill it. From the damage meter, or the damage log here, it looks like we're doing about 8 damage each. So that makes about sense. Okay, let's move on to the medium. It looks like it's taking quite a few more swings. Remember, it's got 50 health. It looks like with the armor included in our weak skill, it takes about 7 swings to kill it. Definitely harder than it would be by default. Not terribly so, and I probably will balance it out a little bit better as we go on. But for now, this is just for testing purposes again. Alright, let's do the big guy. This one looks like it's going to take quite a bit more work to it. We're already getting past 10 swings here, and it's still going. Our stamina's going down, our durability is decreasing, and if he was fighting back, I get the feeling we wouldn't be doing so well right now. Alright, let's try the axe. That's more middle of the road in terms of skill, and see how we do with that. Alright, about what we expected for killing the weak enemy here. Only 2 swings. Let's go hit one of the big guys with the axe here and get a feel for it. Good slicing reactions here. As you can see, stamina's going down, durability's going down a little bit with each swing and hit. For the most part, though, everything's going okay. I think this was about 10 swings to kill him. Yep, we're doing about 10 damage a hit. You can see it was starting to go down a little bit with the incoming damage. There's mitigation, our exhaustion, and our weapon durability. Alright, let's try the mace. Ooh, that was painful. If it had been less than 25 health, I think that would have been an instant kill there. Yeah, 20 or less would have instantly died in the first hit. And that's without any strength bonuses, so as you can imagine, pretty effective once you have a really good weapon. Even with a 10-10, you're doing a ton of damage. And for the big boy himself, even with armor reduction of 20, still getting 17. So the armor does help to an extent, but not enough to save you from somebody that's that skilled with the weapon. Alright, let's go after the average dummy here. Yeah, look at that. Even with armor reduction, it's still doing 19. And one final weapon here, let's go over the sword. The sword's a little bit more, I think, in the middle of the road here. Alright, So that pretty much kind of sums it up here. Next week what I'll do is I'll be adding in a HUD to indicate stamina, health, enemy health, attribute stats, etc. a little bit better so you can see what's going on clearer. But for now, I think at least I've given you a clearer picture of what's going on here and how my game's progressing. We're coming pretty far along. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. As you can see, I've progressed quite a bit. There's still a lot more to add, but getting that HUD in next is definitely the big thing for me. If you did enjoy this, give me a follow, show some support and love. Be greatly appreciated. Share this with other like-minded people, because the more support I get, the more people that are following this, it's going to help me in the long run, especially if I try to get funding for the game. Just having more eyes helps in general. It really means a lot to me. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next.